Hello and welcome to the Trainers of the World Tournament Season 2. I'm your host DeltaTDS, and today for match 11 we've got the coordinator Harley going up against the Paldea gym leader Ryme. Now, I'm not remembering correctly, but this might be our first of the Paldean gym leaders that we're seeing in this tournament today. You can see that Ryme has a Mega Frostlass, a Toxtricity, Poltergeist, and a few other ghost types. And we can see Harley with a few Pokemon he hasn't had. We see his Cacturne, but we also see that he's got Meowscarada and Galvantula as well. Two Pokemon that didn't exist when he was in the anime. Once these trainers are ready, we're going to see which one of these two can take game number 1 and get the lead for match number 11. Harley starting off with the Galvantula and Pelipper. Ryme starting off with the Poltergeist and Toxtricity. Pelipper's going to set up that rain thanks to that Drizzle ability. One of the only reasons that Pelipper is even ever used in VGC. Going to switch out to the Banette as Poltergeist goes for protecting it from that Thunder. Toxtricity is going to go for Overdrive, doing 56 to 57% to both Galvantula and Banette. Quite a lot of damage to Galvantula, even with it not being very effective. It's definitely a choice specs, maybe. I don't have the team sheets pulled up, so I can't check 100%. Toxtricity switching out to the Spiritomb as Banette's going to Mega Evolve. Poltergeist is going to go into Terra Fighting. Disabled's not going to work against Spiritomb. Poltergeist going for the Shadow Ball, taking out that Banette with a critical hit Shadow Ball. Galvantula is going to paralyze that Poltergeist with Thunder, and Wigglytuff is going to replace that Banette. Thunder's going to finish off that Poltergeist. Alluring Voice is going to do a third to Spiritomb as Will-O-Wisp misses that Wigglytuff. There's either 2 to 5 turns of rain left, and Spiritomb is revealed to have those leftovers. I'm sending back out the Toxtricity. I believe it's 5v5 right now. Galvantula goes for the Protect. Wigglytuff ally switches. Boom Burst only hurting that Wigglytuff. Galvantula with the Thunders doing 35% to Spiritomb. Boom Burst doesn't hit Spiritomb. It knocks out both of Harley's Pokemon, leaving him down to 3 Pokemon remaining as he sends out the Pelipper and the Meowscarada. Pelipper goes for Wide Guard, goes for the knockoff on that Spiritomb, getting rid of the leftovers, taking out the Spiritomb. Boom Burst hits that Wide Guard, not doing anything, and Ryme's going to send out the Mega Frostlass. Switching out to the Skeledirge, Pelipper terrestrializes into ground, Frostlass protects, Pelipper goes for Wide Guard, knockoff hits that protects. No damage being done this turn. Switching out to the Cacturne, knockoff does 99% to Frostlass, Thunderbolt does 24%, Torch Song does 48% to Meowscarada, and boosts Skeledirge's special attack along with that Throat Spray, essentially doubling Skeledirge's special attack. Frostlass is going for the Protect. Cacturne tries to use Sucker Punch but fails. Knockoff is going to do nearly 80% to Skeledirge, and Torch Song does 3/4 to Cacturne, taking it out. Pelipper's coming back out here with the Terra Ground. Knockoff's going to finish off the Frostlass. Surf is going to take out Meowscarada as well as Skeledirge. And it's just this Pelipper here up against Toxtricity and Houndstone. Surf gets a crit on Toxtricity, does 43% to Houndstone. Sludge Bomb does 53%. Last Respects does take out the Pelipper, and Ryme takes game number 1 with 2 Pokemon remaining. And we are back on the field for game number 2. We see an Octillery on Harley's team, as well as a Dusclops on Ryme's. Most likely has the Eviolite, but that's just how far my knowledge extends. Once these trainers are ready, we can see if Ryme will be taking game number 2 or if Harley can pull this to a game number 3. Hopefully I can commentate all of this and not have a barrage of dogs. Harley starting off with the Galvantula and Octillery. Ryme starting off with the Frostlass and the Toxtricity. Frostlass setting up the snow thanks to Smogon giving it snow warning. Octillery going for Protect. Protecting against Frostlass's Thunderbolts as Galvantula sets up a Sticky Web. And Toxtricity uses Volt Switch into Octillery's Protect. Looks like both Pokemon were teaming up on Octillery, but it did make use of that Protect. Switching Galvantula out for the Wigglytuff, Octillery goes to Terra Poison, taking a third from Toxtricity's Frostlass's Thunderbolt, as Toxtricity goes for a Volt Switch, getting a crit 58% on Wigglytuff, and switching out to the Dusclops, who is caught in the Sticky Web and frisks both the Leftovers and the Scopelins. Octillery goes for Sludge Bomb, doing nearly 30% to Frostlass. Frostlass goes for Shadow Ball, getting a critical hit and knocking out Octillery, as Wigglytuff goes for Wish and Dusclops sets up a Trick Room. That Sticky Web going to be helping Ryme a lot. Harley's going to send out the Cacturne now. Ryme switching that Frostlass out to the Spirit Tomb as Cacturne goes for Spiky Shield. Dusclops going to be hurt trying to use Leash Life on it, and Wigglytuff goes for Flamethrower, burning the Spirit Tomb, and Wigglytuff's wish coming true, healing up back to full HP. Switching out to the Cacturne for the Pelipper, taking 7.2% from that Leash Life as Spirit Tomb lands the Will-O-Wisp on Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff going for a Luring Voice, doing over a third to Spirit Tomb, and switching Wigglytuff out to Cacturne. Shadow Sneak plus Sucker Punch does about 20% to Pelipper. Pelipper goes for Surf, not affecting Cacturne, doing 22 and 34 to Dusclops and Spirit Tomb. And there's one turn of Trick Room left. Pelipper going for Leash Life, doing 7.5 again. Will-O-Wisp burning the Pelipper as Cacturne sets up a Swords Dance. It's currently 5v5 right now. Harley has lost his Octillery and Ryme has lost her Spirit Tomb. Dusclops is barely holding on. Ryme sends out the Toxtricity, getting slowed down thanks to that Sticky Web. Dusclops going for the Protect. Sucker Punch is going to take out the Toxtricity. Cacturne reveals that it has a Life Orb. Surf not hitting that Dusclops thanks to that Protect, as Pelipper eats that Citrus Berry once it's dropped below half. Ryme sending out the Skeledirge now, getting slowed down by that Sticky Web. Skeledirge is going to Terrasilize into Fairy type as Cacturne goes for Seed Bomb, taking out the Dusclops, and Skeledirge lands a Will-O-Wisp on that Cacturne, basically negating its attack boost. And Ryme is going to send out the Frostlass, starting off the snow once again. Sitting out the Wigglytuff, Cacturne goes for Protect. Thunderbolt does a quarter to Wigglytuff. Both of Harley's Pokemon on the field are burned. Cacturne going for the Sucker Punch, taking out the Frostlass. Torch Song doing a quarter to Wigglytuff. Boosting that special attack. Ryme's gonna send out the Houndstone now. It's currently 5v2 right now. Ryme is down to her final 2 Pokemon. Cacturne going for Spiky Shield. Houndstone going for Protect. Wigglytuff using Alluring Voice, doing 16.9% to Skeledirge, as Skeledirge uses Torch Song into Cacturne's Protect. Switching out the Wigglytuff to Galvantula, Cacturne uses Sucker Punch, doing a third to Houndstone. Torch Song is going to take out the Galvantula, teamed up with Houndstone's Body Press. And Harley sends out the Pelipper now, setting up the rain once again. Sucker Punch doing 10% to Skeledirge. Surf doing 32 to Skeledirge, 43 to Houndstone. Last Respects takes out the Cacturne. Hex takes out the Pelipper. And suddenly, it's 2v2. Harley left with Meowscarada and that burned Wigglytuff. Going for the, what was it, knockoff? And Meowscarada with the knockoff and Wigglytuff with the Alluring Voice takes out Ryme's last Pokemon, and Harley takes game number 2, which means we are in fact going to a game number 3. We saw the Terra Fairy on that Skeledirge. We saw Dusclops with the Trick Room. And then from Harley's team, we didn't see too much from that Octillery, except the Terra Poison and the Scopelins. We also saw the Sticky Web from Galvantula, and all 4 moves from Cacturne and Wigglytuff. We are back on the field for the final game of match 11, and we see a few new Pokemon. We see that Ryme's brought the Golurk and the Mimikyu, and the Banette, and Harley has brought the Ariados. Once these trainers are ready, we can see which one will be going on to round 2. Harley sending out the Ariados and Pelipper, Ryme sending out the Mimikyu and the Toxtricity. Pelipper setting up the rain. I'm curious to see what Ariados is going to do here. Because Ariados, despite being a spider, has like 40 speed. Something low like that. Pelipper terrestrializing into the ground type, going for Wide Guard as Toxtricity uses Volt Switch, doing 2/3 to Ariados. And switching out to the Golurk. Toxic Thread going to poison and lower the speed of Mimikyu as it sets up a Trick Room. Mimikyu with the Room Service is going to lower its speed even more. Switching out to the Wigglytuff. Drain Punch is doing 22% to Wigglytuff as Stone Edge finishes off that Ariados. And Harley replaces that Ariados with the Octillery. It's now 5v6 right now. Ryme is taking the lead, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Ryme will win. Ryme switching out the Golurk to Toxtricity. Shadow Sneak not affecting the Wigglytuff, as Wigglytuff goes for that Ally Switch. Octillery Surf going to break Mimikyu's disguise and do 68% to Toxtricity. Switching out Mimikyu to Golurk, taking 25% from Alluring Voice. Overdrive does 50% to Wigglytuff, and Octillery protects itself. Wigglytuff going for the Ally Switch, protecting Octillery, as Surf takes out both Golurk and the Toxtricity, as Trick Room ends. Ryme sends back out the Mimikyu and the Dusclops. Dusclops frisking both the Scopelands and the Citrus Berry as Pelipper sets up that rain. Switching out to the Cacturne as Pelipper uses Surf, doing 33% to Mimikyu, 20% to Dusclops, and Dusclops sets up the Trick Room, but Mimikyu also sets up the Trick Room as well, canceling out the Trick Room. Going for the Shadow Sneak, doing 9% to Cacturne. Surf healing up Cacturne as it takes out the Mimikyu, and Cacturne goes for that Swords Dance. Dusclops finally sets up the Trick Room, and Ryme sends out the Banette, frisking both the Life Orb and the Citrus Berry. It's now 4v3. Switching out the Pelipper for the Octillery, Banette's gonna Mega Evolve, go for the Dusty Bond. Leech Life gonna hit Cacturne's Protect, taking damage from that spiky shield. Banette's gonna go for the Sword Stance. Sucker Punch is gonna take out the Dusclops. Water Absorb's gonna heal Cacturne up as it does 63% to Banette. Ryme's gonna send out the Houndstone now, her last Pokemon available. As Banette goes for a Destiny Bond, Sucker Punch fails, Surf takes out the Banette, Octillery's taking it, going down as well. Body Press doing over 3/4 to Cacturne, as there's one turn of Trick Room left. Harley sending out the Pelipper now. Sucker Punch does take out that Houndstone, and Harley takes game number 3, which means he is our winner of match 11. He'll be going on to round 2, where he'll be facing our mysterious final trainer, number 01, in match 75. Who is this trainer? Maybe I've already put out hints. Maybe you've already seen him. I don't know, but tomorrow we will have the Pokemon Ranger Lunatic going up against the Pokemon Trainer Nate. Thank you so much for watching, and until then, take care.